Hi socialites, and today it's all about the making of a turban gele. Hi and welcome to today's tutorial. So today guys, I'm going to be taking you through the making, like in-depth making of this beautiful turban gele. It's a 2-in-1 gele, and at the end of this tutorial I can bet with everything in me that you'll be able to replicate this beautiful turban gele that you can see here. Can you see how it's looking like you just tied it on your head directly? It's not looking like an auto gele, like the regular auto gele. This is giving it was tied on my head directly. And without further ado, let's get started. So I have with me a full bundle of ashoke. This is called ashoke, just in case you are not African or Nigerian. So this is what the length looks like. It comes very long, and these are the items I'm going to be using, including needle and thread and sewing machine, which is not compulsory, just in case you do not have that. So I measured out the length of 22 inches, and I'm going to be cutting about 5 of them, just as you can see. So I have them in 5 pieces as it is right now. So 22 inches by 5 inches, though the length depends on the head size, but at least 21, 22 inches is very okay. So I'm going to be joining just 2 out of those 5 pieces together, just like you do when you're joining your regular ashoke. And this is what it looks like. So from the tip here, I measure out 1 inch. Okay, so because the ashoke is striped, like because of the lines, I don't need to measure the 1 inch all the way. So where I mark is just a guide. I'll just follow the lines and then I fold just like so from one end to the other end, and I'm going to be holding that down. Okay, so I first of all hold it down with the help of my office pin, after which I'm going to be stitching it down using my sewing machine. But just in case, like I said earlier, you do not have a sewing machine, it is not compulsory. You can use your needle and thread to neatly hold this down. Okay, so at this point I already have it stitched down, but I'm not sure you can see that because of the matching thread. And from the tip of the folded edge, I marked 1/2 inch inward. Okay, so I'm going to be tracing down because of the lines on the ashoke. So that is 1/2 inch. So I picked like 1 inch fold. Can you see that? It's forming a pleat of 1 inch wide, and then it's going to be placed on that 1/2 inch that I already marked from the beginning. Do you get? This means that the pleat is going to be 1/2 inch, apart. Okay, so to get the pleat, because I'm not going to be leaving it like that, I want it to have a pleat but also stitched down. So when I fold the pleat like so, I turn it to the wrong side. As you can see, I hope you're understanding what I'm saying at this point. So I turned it to the other side, and I have it stitched down following the fold that I have at the front. Do you understand? So this is what the first pleat looks like, and then I'm going to be stitching. So after stitching, this is what I have. Can you see? It's looking like an ordinary pleat, but it is stitched because this is an auto gele turban. Okay, so I'm going to be repeating the same thing for the rest of the pleats. So this is the first pleat, and now I mark the same 1/2 inch from the second pleat, like from the first pleat, I mean to say. I marked 1/2 inch before I folded the first one. So for the next pleat, I also mark 1/2 inch, and because this part does not have the lines, I have to use my chalk to trace that out. So I also pick a pleat of 1 inch wideness, and then I place it as well on the first pleat, I mean to say. That's using that 1/2 inch that I marked out, but the width of the pleat is 1 inch. So just like I did in the first pleat, I have it folded with my hands just to make sure I get the fold, and then flip over to the wrong side and then have it stitched down, making pleat number 2. So I'm going to having a total of 3 pleats, and right about now I have my 3 pleats well done and completed. I hope you can see that the lines on the ashoke is not making them visible, but there are 3 pleats here. So the first base is almost about to be done. So at this point that is unequal, I'm going to be marking and trimming that out so that they are equal on that part. Okay, so afterwards I come back to the remaining cut out that I have. That's the 22 by 5 pieces. I have the other 3 left, so I'm going to be joining them just like I joined the other 2. So I have that joined, so I bring back the first one that I already did almost halfway gone. So like I said, I'm going to be cutting that part out that is unequal because of the stretchiness of the ashoke. So for the 3 that I already joined, I folded it to get the midpoint. I used chalk to mark the middle of that one. Okay, so having done that, I'm going to be getting the first one again, have it it placed like so, and also get the midpoint of this particular first one that I have done halfway. So from the midpoint, I'm going to be marking 7 to 7.5 inches from the middle, making a total of 14 to 15 inches from one side to the other. So I mark 7 inches from the center and 7 inches from the other center. I can use 7.5, and then I come down after the last pleat. I come down by 1.5 inch. Okay, so I get this other one and I place it at that 1.5 inch, and I'm going to be stitching it using this shape that you can see me trying to form here. So but before I do that, I have to fold the edge of this one by half an inch and then stitch like so. Can you see? That's how the stitching goes, but the stitching is not going to be on the right side. So because of that, I flipped it over to make sure that the stitching is on the wrong side, still folding the half an inch like the shape I showed initially. That's exactly how I'm going to be stitching along. Okay, so stitching this second one on the first one using that shape that I showed before I flipped over. But before I proceeded to the sewing machine, I had to use my office pin to hold it down so that I will know exactly the shape I am stitching on, so that it doesn't give me another shape by the time I am done. So I used the office pin to make sure that everything is intact and stable. Okay, so afterwards I proceeded to the stitching machine to have it stitched along what I already held. So if I flip it back, can you see this is what it should look like? Just say this is the shape I'm going to be stitching. At this point, it's just office pin that is holding it down, but after stitching with my stitching machine or your needle and thread, it's going to give you the same effect. Okay, so at this point I already have it stitched and this is what it looks like. So if yours is not looking like this, then something is wrong, but I'm sure you would get exactly what I'm explaining if you follow these steps that I'm showing you here. So at this point that we have extra here, I'm going to be folding it on the first one. That is the second one that we have extra shooting out. I have to fold it in to make sure that it aligns with the base of the gele. Okay, so I did the same thing. I'm going to be holding that down with the stitching machine. So I'm going to be stitching the sides of this particular one, the rough edges. I'm going to be knitting them by hemming it. So at this point you can see I already have it hemmed, but just the other part, I didn't hold this upper part because I'm going to be attaching the strings, the extra one that we're going to be using to tie it. Okay, so to get that done, I come back to the bundle of the ashoke, the remaining ones, and then I mark out about 15 inches of about 2 of them. Now it depends on how long you want, but that 15 inches is very okay, so that you're not having too much excesses by the time you tie your gele. So I have about 2 of that, and this is going to be acting as, you know, the handle that where we are going to be holding to tie the gele on the head. So to have that done, I fold it into 2. I have the needle, the middle point notched, and then I place it on this point like so. Can you see that? You place it like so and have it stitched down. Do you get? So that's how the stitching goes on both sides. So afterwards, this is what it should look like. I have the handle stitched on both sides. So to close this up, I'm going to be stitching along like so, after which I'm going to be turning it out. Okay, so this is what the process of turning it inside out looks like. You use any sharp object at your disposal to push it out through the opening that you have left close to the base of the gele, and with this opening you can leave it or you can stitch it down depending on how you want your finishing to look like. Okay, so I did basically the same thing to the 2 sides of the gele, and this is what they both look like. Okay, so at this point this particular one is set and ready for use. So this is well done and dusted. So let's move further. So for the next part of this gele, I have this already cut out. I have about 4 to 5 pieces of this particular one, and I have it in length of 20 inches. Okay, so basically we are going to be using this to form layers of pleats that we are going to be, you know, attaching to the other first one that we already done. So to get that done, just like we did at the beginning of the first one, we have it held down, folded in using half and 1 inch for the first pleat. So afterwards I began pleating the other pleat on the first one. Okay, like it's going to be on it, not layer, not spacing it like I did the first one. Okay, so I have, can you see? So one of this piece of gele gave me about 3 pleats. So I get my needle and thread and I started tacking it together just to make sure I hold it in place. Okay, so that's basically how you're going to be doing this particular one. So each piece of the gele should give you about 3 pleats of one the pleats should be like 1 inch wide, so that should give you about 3 pleats for each of for like a single piece of this gele. So I have that done, and I'm going to be holding it down from the beginning to the end. Then I proceed to the next one, depending on how high you want this plate to be. For me, I don't want it to be too high. Like I don't want it to look like a gele, because we want this to give us like a turban vibe. Do you understand? So it's not going to be too high. So I basically continue doing that for this particular one. I hope you're understanding what I'm doing. So you tack along from the beginning to the end. Make sure your tacking is like, it doesn't have to be tight. Just make it loose and flexible, so that by the time you are tying it, it's like it is looking well straightened and relaxed. You can manipulate it when you are tying. But if it is too stiff, it's going to be giving a rough full look by the time you tie. Okay, so this is what it looks like when I came to the end of the first plate making. So this is what you should have. So this is the first one, and I'm going to be doing this to the rest other three that I have. So I got the second one, but this time I'm not going to be stitching the first one. I just fold everything, and then you placed it on the first one. So to attach this second one to the first one, I'm going to be picking the last layer of the first one. You see, you pick the last layer, pick it up, and then make sure your needle passes through that. So, okay, that's going to be making sure that the next pleat is going to be attached, properly attached to the initial one. Do you get? So that's basically the step you follow to make sure you get all your layers intact. When you fold the next one, make sure that when you are placing it on the initial one, you pick the last pleat, then make sure you pass your needle through that particular one. So at this point, I have my four pieces of gele pleated together and tacked. This is what it looks like. Can you see how neat and perfect it's looking? So this is what it should look like at the wrong side, and then the upper part, can you see the line, the dots of the tacking? You can see how neatly done it is looking. So for this handle that we did to the first one, this is not, we are not going to be using ashoke to do the second one. We are going to be using a very soft fabric so that it's not looking too bulky at the back after tying. So to get that done, I'm going to be using a very soft fabric like a dollface or even a taffeta. So I get that, and I get this is the upper part, that's the right side of this, and then I place the dollface around it like so. Okay, make sure it is firm enough, make sure it is very tight so that it doesn't pull out. So I used my needle and thread, and then I held it about 3 to 4 stitches at this point, just make sure that I have it held down. Okay, so I have that held down, after which I'm going to be making sure that I stitch the dollface to this multiple pleated gele like so. So at this point, you need a solid surface so that you can press your needle against it, so that it can come out on the upper side, because if you try to use your bare hand to press it, you might get injured in the process. So once I puncture the needle through the gele, I press it on the cutting table and then pass it through. So you do this for about as many times as you can, as long as you've gotten the dollface or the soft fabric well tacked on this gele, on the pleated gele. That's basically the point. I can't basically tell you how many times you're going to do that, but at this point, I think this one is firm enough. You can see. So by the time I turn it and pull it, it is very strong. So at this point, I think I was done with the tacking of the dollface on the pleated gele. So to have it finished properly, that's the handle, I flipped over to the wrong side, and I'm going to be stitching just like I did to the other one. So I just stitch along so, and then I'll be turning it out afterwards. Okay, so after stitching, this is what it looks like. I cut out the excess because I didn't make the tip straight, I made it slanted, and then I used my sharp scissors or any sharp object to turn it out. And with that, guys, this particular one is also ready. You can see it is very simple and just easy to make. So after turning it out, this is what they both look like. Okay, I did the same thing to the other side, and this is what we have at the end of the day. This is how well structured it is. Can you see that? Very beautiful. Okay, so it's time for us to bring the two together. So for the joining of the two geles together, it depends on the outcome you want. So for the outcome that we intend to have, I'm going to be showing you shortly what we should have. Okay, so this is what the tying looks like. So you place it over your head, and then at the back you make your first knot. Okay, make sure it is very firm. I'm not saying tight so that you don't develop headache because you're tying gele. You do it the second time. Okay, so make sure it is firm. Then you get the rest of the excess of the gele. If you have your hair made, you make sure you tuck everything in, because we want it to have a turban look. So at the tips of the excess gele, you tie it under the third knotting and the fourth one. Can you see? So a total of 4 tying that we have. So can you see, with this self, you are good to go. This is just enough already. So to get the pleat, the other one, the second part, you place it over like so, depending on how forward or backward you want to place it, and then you repeat the same thing. So you can see why I said we would not need the gele for the handle, so that it's not looking too heavy and bulky at the back. So you tie it about 2-3 times, and then you tuck in the excess. Okay, so afterwards, can you see what it's looking like? This is already coming out very beautiful. So this is what we have at this point, and then you push back so that it gives your face a lift. Guys, like, if I didn't tell you, you wouldn't know that this is an auto gele turban. Can you see how beautiful, how neat, how well structured this came out looking? This is absolutely gorgeous, guys. I'm going to be making one for myself. This is for a client, and because some clients would not want to go through the stress of tying them separately, so I'm going to be making sure that the two geles are in one piece. So I carefully remove it from my head, making sure that the other one does not fall off. I leave it the way it is, and then I use an office pin to hold it on the inside together. You see that? So I use office pin to hold it about in 3 to 4 places. Then I will tack it down with the help of a needle and thread, so that the client does not go through the stress of placing this other one on the base of the gele. Do you get? Because some client will be like, why is it an auto gele when I still have to go through the stress of placing one on the other? So that's basically how so after that, you just untie every single knot that you have done initially, open it up, and you can see this is already a piece. So you just take it up and then tie, and that is all. Like, you are good to go. Can you see it is already in one piece? There's no separation anymore. So by the time I tack it now, it is permanent. And guys, at the end of the day, when I tied, this is what it still came out looking, just like the initial one. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this particular tutorial. Thanks for watching, and see you in my next one.